attended the class. Okay, fine. Okay, so this is law of variable proportion. So normally this is a very traditional theory. Like many of the traditional theories are not in use in modern world, but this one, the concept that they have given, this is there even now, and this can be applicable to any field or anything, any business. It can be a big like based on the whether it is a large scale or small scale, nothing like that. This can be applied in any business, even like it can be applied in an economy. And this is a similar like a business cycle. Like I don't know how many of you know business cycle. Business cycle means there will be an introduction stage. The company or the business will reach a peak, and once they reach the peak, there will be a recession. A recession is the fall down, and when it is not properly checked in during the recession, they will go into depression, and again they will be recovering back, and they will be reaching a peak. There will be a recession. This happens for any economy. This happens for any business taken into account. In the same way, this theory, law of variable proportion, also, even though it is a very traditional theory, it is applicable everywhere, like in all the businesses. So this is taken as this concept is explained as a proportion of the factor in the combination of factors is increased after a point. First the marginal and then the average product of that factor will diminish. So this is the concept. Again, like I never used to go with the definitions and all. I just want you people to understand the concept. So leave the definition, we will just go on to the concept. And this theory has certain assumption. The assumptions are like the very first one is the constant technology. That is again like to know if there is when you are increasing your input, how the output is going to change, the total production, average production, and the marginal production. That is what we are going to see in this theory. So how this will be changing, the relationship between the input and the output you are going to see. So here we are keeping the technology as a constant. Why? Because technology plays a very important role in increase or in a decrease in the output. So for that reason, we believe a constant technology, and with that, like we are just moving on. So this theory believes in constant technology. Constant technology means there is no changes in the technology, there is no improvement happening in the technology, or we are not adopting any new technology in the production process. The same technology, not the old technology. Don't ever state an old technology. The technology which you are using, the same technology is being used throughout the study or throughout a period, and this period will be of very short term, very short period we are making. So always this happens, even a company is there for a very long period, this short term, all this joined together, it becomes a long term. Okay, so it is not a concept of long term first, that is not possible. So 1 year, if 1 year joined it only, it will come to a 10-year company or 10-year industry. So always it is a joint of or a gathering of short terms. So here also we take short terms, and factor proportions are variable. Why? Because like if you are going to take factor proportion as a constant one, then it is not having any logic at all. Like I have already said, there is no possibilities of having a linearity in economics actually. So always there will be non-linearity. And the homogeneous factor units. Homogeneous factor units means their capacity, what they are producing, they are homogeneous. The capacity are homogeneous. That's what they believe. But again, this one also in reality doesn't happen. But with these the beliefs only, they are trying to explain in a production process how this total production, marginal production, and average production will be. So from their slope, what to get it and how to rectify our business. So this is the very simple concept. Then comes this, like this is the value a schedule given for law of variable proportion. So they are giving that the units of land and labor. I said no, it is a traditional theory. So normally a traditional theory will be taking only these two factors, land and labor. If it is a modern theory, like you can see labor and capital as a factor of production. This normally I used to say it in class. So this is a traditional theory. So you can see that land and labor is taken into account. So the units of land, like if you take 10 acres of land is being utilized, and the units of labor when it is used in the land, what happens to total production? That is what they have explained. And again, please keep it in mind, it is an agriculture production with which like they have explained the concept, but it doesn't mean that it happens only in agriculture sector. It will happen in a any production sector. So this is what normally happens. Okay. So by like in using more of labor, what happens to total productivity, average productivity, marginal productivity? That is what they have explained. And this is the schedule and this is the diagram. Okay. So this diagram. So as you people may get confused with, I just want to draw this diagram and explain the concept. With this diagram itself, you can understand what is law of variable proportion. So you have an, like as usual, you have y-axis and x-axis. Okay, so here it is the production, productivity, or product. You can say anything. Okay, all means the same. So it can be a prediction or productivity or product. And here it is the like the input that is used in the production process, or the factors that is used in the production process. You can take any of the forms. So always this is explained with the three different stages: stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. So you will be having three different stages: stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. Always this is explained with the three different stages only. So what happens is, in the initial stage, like this stage 1 itself, again, like we can divide it into two. Okay. At the end of the stage 1, nearing to it, like you can have another partition. Okay. So that is, I'm drawing this line. This is another partition of a stage 1. So in stage 1, what happens is that the total productivity, overall production, like it will be increasing very drastically. Okay, so this we call it as increasing at an increasing rate. So even if you check with the marginal values, even if you check with the average values, it will be increasing. So the total productivity will be increasing at a increasing rate. So it will be like the productivity of the labors will be more. The first unit of labor will be giving 10 unit of productivity, and the second unit of labor will be giving 20 units of productivity. So altogether 30 units. Likewise, it will be. Why? Because anything, like it can be a product or it can be a business. In the initial stage, what happens is everyone will be very curious towards it, and everyone will be putting their hard work to the maximum, and everyone will see that they succeed in the business. That eagerness will be there, no? Like everyone want to earn a huge profit out of a business. Everyone was starting a business because the main motive is the profit. So how to attain a profit? You will be very enthusiastic, and you will be putting all your hard work, and you just want to show the people, or you just want to show the world that you are doing the business in a very proper way. And so that, like, you will be working very hard, and that stage actually, if it is taken into account, any business will be having a in the initial stages, it will be having a very high productivity. So the total productivity will be very steeper, which indicates that the total production is increasing at an increasing rate. This is how we define it, okay, in economics: increasing at an increasing rate. So when total productivity is increasing, the marginal productivity will also be increasing, the average productivity will also be increasing. So all the values, if you calculate the average. What is average? Average is nothing but total productivity divided by the units. Okay, that will be giving you the average value. And marginal productivity, that is nothing but the difference between this particular productivity to that of the previous unit's productivity. If you make a difference, that will be giving you the marginal productivity value. So all these will be increasing. Why? Because that is the very first stage. You are introducing your product and you will be working very hard to promote your business, and that will be seen in the production process or in the business or in the field of agriculture. Wherever you want to take it, you can take it. So in the very first stage itself, what happens is an indication that the very first stage is going to end is we can feel it at the end of the very first stage itself. So what happens is that the marginal productivity will reach its maximum and it will start to decline. Okay, so this is the stage. So at the end of the first stage, the marginal productivity will start to decline, which indicates that you are going to the second phase of. So when this marginal productivity starts to decline, average productivity will be increasing, but it will reach its maximum. And after that, the average productivity will have a decline. So when the average productivity having a decline, that is the beginning of the second stage. So when the marginal productivity is declining, it is an indication that you are going to have a declined average productivity. So well in advance, it is saying that your productivity is going to decline. Okay, so at the end of the marginal productivity will decline, but at the first stage, at the end, like at the end, the average productivity will reach its maximum, and then the second stage it will start. And the total productivity, what happens is it will be the increase here to here and the increase from this point to this point. If you notice, increase is the rate at which it is increasing is minimum. All this as increasing at diminishing rate. Okay, so this is increasing at an increasing rate. That is the rate or the proportion at which it is increasing itself. Whereas this is like it is in a diminishing concept, whereas productivity over an increase slightly. This is the first stage. So what happens in the second stage is, you know, already the marginal product, so it will decline. In the second stage, it will reach zero, and in the third stage, it will be negative. Okay, so this is marginal product.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Hello?
Your voice is breaking a lot, ma'am.
Oh, 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 problem, I think. Is that okay now? Is that I'm audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine, fine. So the marginal productivity in the second is the marginal productivity already it has started to decline even before the end of the first stage. Here also it will be declining, declining. The second stage it will reach zero, and this is what marginal productivity. But average productivity it will decline, and like there will be a decline only. Like average productivity will not reach zero, because if you are leading your average productivity reach zero, it means that you are not checking your company properly. You are not taking care of your business properly. And again, like it is something like your company or your business has fallen into depression. Okay, so like during the recession time itself, we have to make some research and development activities, and we have to come back. If you are not going to do so, then it means that like you will fall under depression, and after depression it is very difficult for a company or an economy or anything taken into account to recover back. Why? Because depression is such a condition. Okay, so even in 1930, the Great Depression, when I was talking, I said like all the theories was a failure at that time. So new theories were invented to come out of the Great Depression. So this what happens in any field. So that you should not leave it. Allow the productivity to reach zero or negative. So you have to make some research and development activity here itself. That is, when the marginal productivity reaches zero, there itself you should wake up and you should do some research activities and bring back your business. If not so, then you will be in a loss. So what happens to the total productivity? In the second stage, total productivity will be increasing, but again increasing, that increase will be very minimum, that increasing at a diminishing rate. Here itself it is increasing at a diminishing rate only, but here it will be worse than that condition. So they reach this stage, and this total productivity will reach its peak at this point, and after this the total productivity itself will start to decline. Okay, so when the total productivity itself starts to decline, it means that you have to stop using of input factors, or like if you are taking labor alone as a concept here, because this is a traditional theory, so land and labor is taken to explain. Land is constant, we cannot make a move, so keep that one. We are just going to take labor. So what it means is, in the second stage itself, you have to stop using of labor. Further, if you are going to employ more labor on the same plot, the labor, the one who is going to join later on after this level, he will not be contributing anything towards productivity. In the same time, he will make others also not to produce. Why? Because his productivity is zero. And when he is having a zero productivity, it is obvious that he will be taken away from the job. So for that, like what he will be doing is that he will be creating some unions, or he will be talking with the people, and he will be wasting the time of others. So as a result, the other labor's productivity will also come down, and the total productivity itself will starts to fall down, and which is not a good sign for your company. So as a very good entrepreneur or a wise entrepreneur, what you have to do it is that you have to stop using of labor at this level itself, the level where the marginal utility becomes negative, sorry, zero and then negative. So when it becomes zero itself, you have to stop. After that, employing of labor is a waste, as well as that will degrade the other laborers, those who are working already in your company. And this level, when it is not checked by you properly, if you are just going to employ the people more and more after this will have an impact on the total productivity, and your total productivity will starts to decline. Again, when the total productivity itself starts to decline, then how you can run a business? You cannot run a business. So this is what a law of variable proportion. So it states that what happens, it is for a short period. Okay, it will not be happening for a very long period. So in short period happen. So might be like in 1 year, this you can feel it. So what you have to do it is, again here you have to do some research and development activities. You have to bring back the stage of development again in your business. If you're not going to check it, then you will be in a loss. So this is what is explained here. So in the very first stage, total productivity will be increasing at an increasing rate. Marginal productivity will also be increasing. Average productivity also be increasing, but towards the end of, that is an indicator that the first stage is going to end, can be felt or seen when marginal productivity starts to decline. And at that stage, you can see that the total productivity will be increasing, but in a diminishing rate. And even the marginal average revenue average productivity, it will reach its maximum, its peak, it will also start to decline. Declining is there is an increase in activity, which means that you are utilizing the resources to the complete extent or to fullest extent. When this marginal productivity reaches zero, you have to stop your like not the stopping of production. Stop employing more of inputs to that. Why? Because it is going to have a negative impact. So at that level, you can stop some research and development works and you can work on your productivity. So this is what is law of variation. So this is you can see here. So I have drawn all the like what to say total product and everything in one diagram. But here I have given different panel. Okay, you can see the same what I have explained it. Same thing will be there. So you can see marginal productivity is increasing. It reaches peak and decline well in advance. It declines, and the second stage it reaches zero, and then it becomes negative. So this is the productivity. So total productivity, you can see initially it is increasing at an increasing rate, and after that increasing at a diminishing rate, at a diminishing rate compared to the previous stage, and then the itself starts to decline. So this is the point when uh, productivity is zero and productivity reaches its maximum. And when much is negative productivity, it's like completely the total productivity fall. So this is not a good stage. So you should not reach see that your function with and this is a very short call. Again, it is explained here. First stage, second stage, and again they have given a table to explain the same concept. Say increasing at an increasing rate, then increasing at a diminishing rate. Whatever I said, all the things will be there. The relationship. So to clearly understand, this is the flow chart or a table given to you. Like you can just go through it and you can understand the concept of what do you law of variable proportion. So this theory actually this is named for an agriculture product, but this can be taken product. It is now applicable. This is what actually happens. How you have to identify whether your business is moving in a way or not. So this
Ma'am,
is the thing.
can we see like
Yes.
this